Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Welcome to the KVJ After the Show Podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, some people who did not catch yesterday's podcast, or at least the back half of it, like Denise, saying, hey, what's up with the inside joke? Huzzah. Can you share?
Huzzah!
Yeah. Probably the best thing to do is just go to Wednesdays. After the show podcast. It's a very long explanation. It's kind of like one of those, yeah, it had to be there kind of things. I would explain it, but then you'd be like, huh?
But it's well worth the listen.
Yeah.
Huzzah does not disappoint.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
I had a great time on yesterday's After the Show podcast.
We know.
Yeah, we know you did, yeah. A lot of people enjoyed it, like Christy and the Pizzle. She said, long-time listener. Seen you all a few times in person, but today I had to write in After the Show podcast on Wednesday. I was work laughing hysterically and so loudly that I had to get up and close the door to my office. A few of my coworkers came in to see what was going on and asked me why I was cry laughing. Needless to say, I replayed the podcast for a few of my office mates, and we're all dying right now while the phones are going unanswered.
I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's great.
I love it when Jaybird gets shit-faced at 8 a.m. because by the time the ATSP comes on, he is just too much. Poor Randy, by the way, with any luck he wasn't listening.
Do we know? Was Randy listening?
I don't think he was. Again, I'd like to reiterate, I don't think you guys got I don't think I explained the joke or the comment right.
Oh, we got it. It was great.
Yeah, you know else who got it.
Randy's back.
Poor Randy, by the way. With any luck, he wasn't listening. And anyway, thanks for all the years of laughter. Love you guys and hope to see you in the Pizzle soon. P.S. Jaybird, go fuck yourself. Huzzah.
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 I got the best dad. I love my dad. We have a great relationship.
That's sweet.
Yeah, one of the photos that I liked that stuck out because yesterday was your school year photos, and there was one with your very young, handsome dad and you were just belly laughing, kind of like sitting right across him.
He was tickling me. He used to do a tickle game with me.
Okay.
Aww.
It was called the Meemaws. If he said the Meemaws are going to get you, I knew the tickle monster was coming out.
Uh-oh. Okay. You guys still play?
Please play me, Maz, today.
I play with Chewy.
I think you and your dad should recreate and do a Meemaw video
Yes.
for us.
Please.
I would do it. I don't think my dad would be into it. I don't think he wants to be involved in a fucking Meemaw video.
I don't know. I think it'd be adorbs.
So what's the video? Just him tickling me on the couch?
And you just cackling away.
I love
You
it.
just you got the giggle monster. He's got the tickle monster. You got the giggle monster.
That's funny. Well, maybe I'll tape him. Say, hey, Dad, you want to tickle me like you did when I was a kid? Play Meemaws and see what he does. Maybe he'll do it.
Because if not, I got you.
Yeah, I'll just start tickling you.
I really want to hear you ask him.
Mm-hmm. Got an email here from Jason. He said the people respectfully request that you bring a bunch of Jerby's ex-girlfriends on the air to find out what annoying things he does in bed.
Okay, now the ideas are flowing.
He said, I'm thinking it probably involves a Bigfoot costume, some spray cheese, and aggressive butt play.
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes in that order. Double
Well,
up on
everybody knows cheese is great butt lube.
Everyone thinks that when I have sex, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm gonna get my Bigfoot costume. I'm gonna fuck you like a Yeti. Like everyone thinks that's how I am. It's so funny.
I was reading, some of the comments because we were talking about that on the regular show today. It was, okay, what is the thing that your significant other does that you hate in bed? And we had Panda and Mexican Queen on, and I was reading some of the comments in the chat room, and this guy's like going, yeah, my wife totally hates it when I spit on my dick for lube. I was like, oh. It's like one of those comments you want to unsee.
Oh, it's lawless in that chat room,
God,
my man.
just the visual. I was like,
You animal.
Well, the fact that you're in the chat room confessing this
Chat
shit.
room confession. I was like,
My wife hates when I spit in my dick. I just don't get why she's so frigid.
what? It's just like,
It's definitely on her.
She doesn't get me.
oh my gosh. It's like, yeah, I get it. I get it. Got to Allison and Justin here from the Pizzle. Sent an email about Peace Train. Said, hey, KVJ, my boyfriend and I tried the Peace Train beer at Duffy's off US 1, and it was amazing. We were wondering what kind of beer Jaybird was thinking about making. We are excited. Well, we'll sit down. We'll collaborate with Due South. Their input is very key because they are actually the experts of the game. So, we'll figure out.
Did you see that from Denny's?
It's pretty good. We'll give that to you here in a minute.
I think we should let him give it. It's his joke.
Oh, wow.
It's very topical.
It's very just happened.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a second. Anyway, the beer, real quick, on Due South. Yeah, they've got some brewmasters. And so, we'd kind of come to them and we'd said, hey, we want to try to stay kind of in the main lanes, the veins of the more popular, your IPAs, your ales, lagers, ambers.
Well, the good news is, for my beer, I wanted a higher percentage of beer, and they're at a point now. They're making like 8.5 beers now that are kind of crushable. Well, they at least taste like they're kind of crushable.
Yeah,
they're getting better with all that.
Yeah, they are higher alcohol. Yeah, but they do taste better. In fact, I know it's probably an easy one to do like that would be like a double IPA is one. Those double IPAs go about 9 or 10%. Is one I know of.
If I had any say in it, I would say that the perfect percentage of beer for mine would be 7.5. It's still enough to where it's...
What is it?
7.5.
Oh, that's nothing. That's just a lot of regular IPAs. Like I drink High Lie, and that's about a 7 or 7.5.
When you start getting in the 9s, man, I mean, one beer, if you have a glass of that 9... You're texting your ex. I mean, shit's going down.
Yeah, you really it's when you're just going to sit down and have one.
How many exes heard from you yesterday?
None, nobody, no. I'm getting better with that shit.
There's some, have you ever had a sour?
Yes.
Well, you can do, because Jaybird likes fruity, easier drinking beers, and there's some sours that go down smooth that really, some of them can be low alcohol, but some of them, that's why sours to me are dangerous, because I was out one day and I'm like going, this sour is going down great. And I was on my third. I'm like, what's the percentage on this? And it was like 8 something. I'm like,
ooh, okay.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, because I was used to some of them will be a 3%, like nothing.
Some of them taste like you're sucking on a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, and I know you kind of like that. So if you could make a higher, alcohol volume sour that, just goes down like nothing, that might be what a full gorilla might be.
I'm not hating what we're saying.
Yeah. So that's, that's all the fun conversations that we'll have with Due South. And maybe, we can bring them in here and they can have the conversation with us on the podcast. We can get people's feedback.
I don't know why I keep on feeling like a pink lemonade. Whether it's in the beer or if I just get it later on today, I'm just feeling pink lemonade.
Interesting.
I've never heard of a pink lemonade beer.
And maybe that's why we do it. Or not. I'm just throwing it out there.
Let's get Due South in here because specifically the brewmaster. Now, Doug is awesome. He's the guy that we deal with most of the time. But there's another dude, and I forgot his name because we met him when we were there the other day. But he's the guy that crafts the formulas, gets the taste, gets the flavor, gets the recipes. That's the guy we got to have in here for the podcast and talk to that guy about pink lemonade. Is it dumb or can we do it?
Is it dumb or can we do it?
Yeah.
There's always a fine line between dumb and brilliance.
And we cross it every day.
Which side are we on more often?
I mean, come on.
I think you know.
We're on the side of DUM.
So email said, got an event at work tonight where everybody's required to sing the karaoke song with the group. What do you recommend for the best karaoke song as a group setting?
Group of girls, Spice Girls is always fun.
Predictable.
Group of girls, Destiny's Child is always fun.
Mm-hmm. The ones that, work, the best that we do. I mean, like the Piano Man does really well, and that's easy to sing. I mean,
Sweet Caroline does
not overly
great.
imaginative.
Sweet Caroline, I'm so fucking over that
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're talking about an office party,
Yeah.
most of these people don't go to cocktails and karaoke
Every week.
like you.
What about No Diggity?
I'm not a fan of that one.
Well, then it must be a bad idea.
Terrible idea.
Yeah, okay. Well, if the
Why don't
witch
you start
doesn't-
drinking again? Because you're not nearly as fun as you were yesterday.
Wow, you are just as mean.
You didn't have any nuts in your mouth today, did you? So I think not.
I actually felt pretty good today. Surprisingly, I don't know how that was possible, but I kind of woke up with a little spring in my step. I feel terrible now.
Okay. It always does kind of catch up with you one
Oh, yeah.
time or another. It's going to happen. Yeah, so those are just a few. In fact, what I do is a cheat sheet sometimes when, we're up on stage and we're like, what are we going to sing? I'm like, you can do a really quick Google search for best karaoke songs, and they'll give you some lists, and then maybe you can find one. I would try to, get with one, maybe look at it real quick. This happens to me all the time. I think I know a song a lot better than I really do. And I'll get up there. Man, that happened with
We Are
Ritmo
the World?
Latino. Yeah, no, that was bad. But what is his name? Rico Suave.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I thought I knew. I'm like, I listen to the song all the time, and it came on like going, nope, punt. I'm like,
That's why you got to make up. You got to
all.
make up words at that point.
Yeah, it was just bad.
The best karaoke song is a song you know really well. That's what I think.
Yeah, if there's a song that you sung a lot, like in the car or something like that, and you feel like, okay, I'm kind of nailing this. That's how, like, for me, like Wonderwall was one of those songs that I'm like, I felt like I'd sang it a lot, really knew the lyrics, thought it was in my zone. So I went with that. A lot of people know it, don't hate it for the most part. So anyway, that's just some suggestions. Takesha said, hey, you guys talk about binge watching shows, but I'd be interested in knowing if there are any shows that you all hate watch. It's the shows you don't really like, but you always find yourself watching and rolling your eyes to. I hate watch Say Yes to the Dress and House Hunters. Now that I realize that I hate them both for the same reason, they are these normal people with these huge budgets, which can be so annoying, especially when they shave sheep for a living, but can afford an $800,000 vacation home in Costa Rica. Ugh. I know you guys don't have a lot of downtime, but do you hate watch anything?
Yeah, pretty much anything on MTV where it's fake and contrived and not real, and no, it's not real, but they're acting like it's real. Kind of like on the Kardashian level.
Mm-hmm.
More of the reality shows where it is so scripted, the acting is such shit, but you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this fucking thing got greenlit. I got to keep watching it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Jersey Shore was kind of like that for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jersey Shore.
But
I don't hate watch anything. I don't have time for hate.
But yeah, you don't.
Everything I watch, I love.
You don't really hate it though. You do hate it in a sense, but the love overrides the hate. I obviously loved watching Jersey Shore because I love to watch the shit that I was hating on.
And you love DJ Pauly D, let's be honest.
I didn't hate him.
I guess, I kind of actually got into this in the last couple of weeks. It's in sports, but, the whole Urban Meyer thing at Ohio State. And so there's this one guy who has a show, and he just every day rips Urban Meyer apart. And I'm like going, this fuck you, fuck, and I'm like so mad. I'm like, fuck this guy. This guy's so. But every day I'm like, I got to turn it on and see what he's gonna say, and it gets me so angry. I'm like, he's a fucking idiot. I'm like, I'm sitting there just screaming. I'm like, it makes me so incensed. But it's like I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
Have you tweeted this guy yet?
No.
Okay.
No, I have I have not tweeted at him, I don't think. I have I did pop off to one guy. There was one, and I really bit my tongue about 8,000 times on Twitter. But yeah, there was just one guy that just did this half-assed article with all these bad facts in it, and I did pop off a little bit to him.
I hate Reed. Yahoo News is
I'm doing that every day on Twitter.
The worst journalism, if you even want to call it that. And I deliberately go there to get mad.
Yeah.
But I go there every day. But fuck Yahoo News. Gosh, they are
Yeah, no, I agree. For sports, they do Yahoo Sports.
Terrible.
And I hate everything they
Terrible.
write, especially on this Urban Meyer thing. I'm like going, these guys are, I think it was the Yahoo guy went off on.
Probably. It probably
I think
is.
it was.
Yeah, they are the worst.
And I was like, dude, just try harder. I'm like, you don't, like, the facts that you have in this were refuted 2 weeks ago.
They're not even, it's not journalism. They're all opinion, it's usually people right out of college.
This is what's happening now, and it's you can lump it all in. In fact, there was even the headline with Trump today saying, oh, no, he's kind of retracted a little bit on the media stuff, but with the fake news, and, he did so much at starting it, but there is a little bit back and forth. And, usually when you got very polar opposite opinions, like what's happening with journalism, there's a little bit of in between that it's true. And what Jaybird is saying is very factual, that there is a lot of people with not a lot of credentials. Journalism is not what it used to be. A lot of these opinionated guys that are just trying to write clickbait and don't necessarily care about getting to the bottom of the details. They're not going at it impartial like the old traditional newsmen were supposed to always remain impartial.
Right. The Dan Rathers are dying.
But what they do, they try to present it like it's news. They try to bow it up and present, and it's not.
Yeah.
And it really does cause a lot of fucking issues, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It divides us, for one, as people, whether it is with racism or sexism. There's a lot of stuff that wants to fuel some of those problems, and I think that is such a bad thing to do.
Very true. And, the one term that has come out, this last week about journalism as well, and even this is in sports. I don't deal with the politics, but we're the watchdogs. We're the ones. But then, people do get angry because, like, well, no, you've got an agenda.
Right.
Yes.
You can't be a watchdog with an agenda.
Right.
Watchdogs are supposed to be unbiased.
And that's what's happening with the media. And that's why there are some people who are like, when Trump does the hashtag fake news, and a lot of people are using that hashtag now, but people are behind it because they see that. They're going, don't try to. No, you're a wolf in sheep's clothing. You're trying to act like you're doing this for the people, but it's just a smear job. Because you realize that you'll get more clicks and, more exposure.
The reason why fake news got the steam.
There is something to it.
Because there is fake news out there. Now, I'm not saying every publication
No, you're right.
and there are people that do it the right way. But there's a lot of people doing it the wrong way. And when you have that blurred line where it's a half a truth, sometimes I almost feel like that is more damaging than a flat-out lie.
Well, I think the blog reporting has done that because more people were able to get into the field. And I think also with the timeliness of Twitter where the news is immediate. In fact, in my urban story, one of the reporters in there had even admitted that, where traditionally they would go and check and get a couple sources on the other side of the story to give the bounce. He's like, I was afraid somebody's going to sniff out my story and beat me to press. And so he went and threw it up on his social media account so he could get the story out without going and getting the other side of it. And he admitted that. He's like going, I thought somebody else was going to scoop me. And he's like, I got to try to stay employed. He's like, he's already unemployed. And he's like going, I need this. I need this. So that's what's happening in journalism.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is.
Has he got a gig from being the guy that released that yet?
Yeah.
He
just
did.
Yeah.
Well, there you
just
go.
got employed.
So he played it right.
Well, it rewards him.
Yeah.
And it shows you that, hey, what you did was right. You had a little something that caused this big shitstorm, and so many people have gotten into it and fed it, and, ultimately he won.
Yeah, he really, really did.
Yeah. So, and that's what people see that and be like going, yeah, screw it, man. Don't waste your time. When you get something, run with it. Casey sent an email and said, hey, Jaybird, when is the Tom Cruise cruise? I really want to go.
Yeah, well, I was working on it with somebody here at work, and then they have been replaced, so we're kind of back to square one, Kev. Yeah, they don't have that title anymore, and they were doing the legwork. The good thing is the person that could help us potentially will help us greatly.
Okay.
I don't know if that made any sense. It kind
He
of
sounded like Yoda.
I totally did. The fuck am I talking about? We're working on it.
Can you speak in English?
Why you gotta get on my case all the time?
It's kind of a thing.
I got this from Morgan. Said Curtis said that he had noticed Jaybird's new weird gasp laugh, and I had been hearing that and wondering about that too. It's definitely a new habit that Jaybird has picked up. So funny.
I think it is a laugh. I noticed me doing it yesterday, and I stopped myself. There should be an improvement from weeks to come. Habits die hard. Hopefully this one dies easy.
Thank you, Yoda.
I don't know. Maybe I lost some weight in my fucking thorax and now I'm breathing different. I don't fucking know.
Also, you're talking about weird places someone has puked. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Japanese hibachi grills and how they work.
Yes.
The big open grill you sit around. It's basically a table that is hot. In the
Please
middle. Yeah.
do not tell me somebody puked on the hot hibachi grill.
All right.
Oh, they did.
They were doing those sake shots where they go around, they pour them, and there's some
Sake bombs.
middle-aged ladies that have been partying a little bit, and he did a sake bomb. She goes, huh? all over the middle of the hibachi and all over her friends' plates. And they're just like, oh!
That is, so you got to shut it down.
You got to not just shut it down. You got to shut that whole hibachi down.
I think the whole, at least that table and probably the whole restaurant. It's like, sorry, we got to majorly, like...
Shut this shit down.
Shut this shit down.
Oh,
that's
if you're
rough.
the girl that pukes, I mean, you have got to immediately leave. You run out of there in shame.
You do.
You can't try to help. You got to just go.
I always thought it was kind of weird and uncomfortable because the one in Benihana I've gone to, it's in Key West. You ever been to that one?
Yeah, there's one in Stewart, too.
So I went Friday and Saturday night back to back and got the same guy, preparing the food, and they have like a comedy routine.
Right.
But he didn't, it was the same comedy routine for the same group. Don't you think they should have like 3 comedy routines ready to go?
You should have requested a different waiter or a different cook.
Now I'm the new guy from out of town up north, being all pricky.
I think they're one-trick ponies, so you need a new pony.
But wouldn't that be uncomfortable if you recognize the crowd that you had just did the day before? You're like, oh man, I got to do the same shit.
I would ask them to be switched to a different table, but maybe this guy doesn't give a F.
Yeah.
You gotta have that. You gotta have that little routine going.
Maybe he doesn't think of himself as showbiz. He needs to.
You have to. I think at Benihana they all have like a fucking game or a shtick they do.
Yeah.
Kind of like how that airlines does the thing.
Southwest, yeah, they all have a little shtick, and they're allowed to have some fun.
A little bit of fun.
Yeah, they joke around. They say, when your oxygen masks fall from the, top thing, make sure that you put yours on first, and then decide which kid you like better, and put that one on them.
Okay.
They're like snarky kind of.
They say like little funny things
Yeah.
like that in there. Mm-hmm. We have dimmed the cabin lights for takeoff in order to make your flight attendants look more attractive.
It's kind of like that one.
And you're like, that's funny.
That restaurant where the waitress comes up or the waiter comes up and they insult you the whole time.
I don't like that.
Yeah, but it's like a gimmick. It's like,
I know.
look at this fucking guy with his beady eyes. Fuck this guy. Yeah. You want your ribs, murder face?
Oh, shit. I mean, they came hard for Kevin.
It's tough. It's tough being me.
If your waiter says, fuck this guy, I don't know. It doesn't set the tone for a good meal.
But it's like their shtick.
I don't like that.
I'm not a big fan of those dicky restaurants. It's like
No.
people are assholes enough. Like, I'm going to go someplace where people are nice to me.
That's
I
why
hear
I
ya.
got fired from, I worked like one night at that Coyote Ugly bar in New York City as a bartender, and they wanted me to like be a dick to customers and to people that I didn't know, and I just wasn't dick enough to strangers because I felt bad.
Which is shocking to me that you weren't dicky enough. I mean,
I've grown my dick since then, so I probably could go back and do really well now, but back then I was kind of nice. I didn't like it. Dick to strangers just didn't feel good.
yeah, being a dick to strangers, it shouldn't feel good. 'Cause
It shouldn't,
it's
right?
kind of a dicky thing.
Let me see some music news going on here today. That Def Leppard Journey Tour, I know you're going to that show.
I am Friday night with a bunch of Little Smiles friends.
They say that tour's already grossed $50 million in ticket sales, and it's only halfway done.
Wow.
Did anyone else get any compliments about that Steve Perry song we played the other day? I actually had a few people come up to me and say, hey, that Steve Perry song you played sounded like from the 80s. It sounded like he wasn't trying to be modern, and they really dug it.
I like Steve Perry's voice. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, check out the version they came out with. He's got a video with it now, and it's like, it was a bad just mix of it, kind of, I guess, is the best way to put it. It wasn't the highest quality that we played yesterday, but
the sound of it was very 80s.
Oh, absolutely. It does. It sounds very 80s, and his voice is not far from what it was. I mean, I don't think he's not necessarily like, grinding it out like he would on.
But that fucker can sing.
He still sounds good. Absolutely. I'm not taking it away from him. But yeah, it's got an 80s sound and feel to it. And I would say it's good. It's not amazing.
I agree with you. I just like the fact that an old dog is out there trying to make it happen. I like that.
Yeah, it was kind of good. Sometimes when you see that, just for the nostalgia, you'll give them good. I mean, you would love to have another, Open Arms or something like that, but
someone like Steve Perry, he was everyone knows him from Journey.
Yeah.
He has a fan base. So if he puts out music, even if it's only 100,000 people downloading his shit, it's 100,000 people.
And he's been open about his struggles, and I think people can relate to that. I mean, the guy went through a lot, and the stage fright, and then all that, and to be that talented, but yet still be scared to be amazing. It's you pull for a guy.
Well, that's why you pull for Weezer. Weezer finally got a hit back on the top 100, and you're pumped about that.
Yeah.
Older dudes still making it happen.
Oh, you love that. Yeah, that's why I love to see a Weezer. To me, it's amazing when they crank out a classic later. You're just like, wow, that's so cool.
Well, there's this, once you hit 55 or 50, you can't do music. That's not true. It's not. That's what the music industry will say.
Yeah, I would say traditionally, I mean, I think you're hard-pressed to find someone who creates a song in their like 50s or 60s that was just like as amazing as when they were in their 20s typically, but
it can happen though.
When it does happen, it's like a unicorn. You're just like, but that I root for that, and I think it's so awesome.
That. Like I'd like to hear, Sheryl Crow back in the day. She was so popular on the radio. Could she write, if someone gave her radio airplay for a solid year, could she write something that would be popular if they gave her the chance?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you like to hope that there isn't that ageism thing where if like somebody did crank out something that was that amazing that they would get a shot. I know some bands have to less of a degree. Duran Duran back in the early 90s, they came back with an album and they had really kind of been out of the game for a couple years and they got a hit, they got another shot at it, but it wasn't like it was a 20-year gap.
I think Sheryl Crow has been putting out music.
She has.
I think there's new stuff from
She
her.
went a little country for a while. She tried that, and I think she's going to do one last album, and I think she's going to do more of kind of like the mainstream type stuff.
And she probably is, but my thing is the machine getting behind it. I would just like to see someone like even John Mayer. If the machine gets behind you, does success follow? And I think it does. I think if the machine's behind you, success follows.
Well, luckily, the machine can be your fan base now because it's so easy to get stuff. You don't need radio anymore. You've got streaming and you've got social media that if people get it, and if the song is amazing enough, and people are going, you guys got to really get on this song. I think there are some songs that bleed through what, on-air terrestrial radio play does, and people are like, this song is just that good. And then,
well, you're right, because you now have movies and commercials, especially commercials now.
Yeah,
where that's a venue where a lot of artists go to is the commercials.
Yeah, break it on there, and then it becomes a big hit. So that's kind of cool. Phil Collins is pining for a Genesis reunion.
Fuck yeah! Oh, you don't like Janet, do you?
I've changed my mind about Phil.
You were real hard on Phil for a while.
I didn't like him. I didn't get it. But then I heard an interview that he did on NPR, and you should go listen to it if you have a chance. He talks about love lost and heartbreak that he experienced in his life, and it made him such a sympathetic, awesome figure to me, just by how open he was and how real he was and how honest.
I saw an old interview with him and the other guys from Janet from like 1980, and this is when they were really starting to hit. He's like, all these articles are coming out about how ugly we are. It was very hurtful. It really hurts our feelings. And you're like, oh, come here, Phil. Let me give you a hug, you motherfucker.
Let me give you a hug, you ugly motherfucker.
Get over here, you Charlie Brown looking bitch.
It was so painful because you think someone that's like a rock star, fuck it, you can say what you want. He's like, this is very hurtful. I feel so bad. Like you said, you heard him, you're like, oh shit, Phil.
I felt really bad when I heard the interview because I realized in that moment, Phil is human.
Yeah, of course.
He was very human.
Yeah.
Also, the thing that's kind of cool with the Genesis reunion is he wants to have his 17-year-old son play the drums for him, because he's got, muscular issues with his hands and things like that. And in fact, his son did play drums on his tour last year.
Now, so Phil would just sing and his son would move into the drums? Because Phil used to do both. sing and drum. So
Yeah.
why can't his kid do it? That doesn't seem like an unreasonable request.
Yeah. So he's pitched it to the other guys in Genesis and said, "Hey, what do you think?" So
And they're not calling him back? Like,
he said there
What's
was
going on?
There was a line in the article that makes it sound like they're kind of like underwhelmed, but who knows? He's pitching it out there. Maybe it would happen. It might be kind of interesting. See exactly what they got. And then, we've definitely got to get out of here and make note. I know some people were texting us saying, "Did you hear about the passing of Aretha Franklin at
We
the
did.
age of 76?" I know that a lot of people knew that. And let us know. And I think for the last couple of days, people were kind of expecting it. They'd kind of moved her into hospice. And
yeah, they knew that the time was near.
Yes.
She had been canceling a lot of shows for a lot of months. And I think just this week, earlier in the week, they said it's grim.
yes, and so what we were chuckling about earlier was Denny's had let us know in a Denny's-style way. So
People want to know the joke.
Denny's?
It's way too. I'm telling y'all, it's too soon.
Too soon. I mean, she just died.
yeah,
It's a judgment call if y'all want to hear the joke, but I'm just saying.
we have a dark sense of humor.
Very dark.
I'll go on ahead and just I'll give it to you, and I'll just tell you if you.
You're going to do it, or you're going to let Denny's do it?
Well, I worked out the syncopation on it here a little bit.
Then by all means.
You've syncopated?
Well, you've got to, I think to make it work, you've got to trim out a letter.
You kind of have to do what they do in that song Friends. You have to kind of merge the two together.
Yeah, that's kind of what you got to do. So
Let me preface by saying I love me some Aretha Franklin.
yes,
Aretha is the queen
Absolutely.
of soul. And if you ever have any doubt about that, go back and look at videos of her killing it on
Absolutely.
stage every time she made it happen live.
Denny's cheap, man. I just try to jump on a joke if I can.
Well, I mean, you're the host of the joke jury.
Aretha's gangster, too.
Super.
You would have to pay her in cash before she would go on stage. And when you see her come out on stage with that little purse, it's because the cash that she just got from the guy running the promoter or whoever, she would make you pay her in cash. She put it in that little purse and bring it on stage and put it next to her on a stool. She didn't trust nobody.
Am I the only one that thinks that sounds made up?
No, that's real.
So the woman herself, I love. I'm just saying.
okay, all right. So a little dark. I'm gonna let Denny's. You are the joke jury man, so don't let me.
I mean, if there's
Step
ever
on
a
your joke.
build-up for a joke, it's so
better
much
be-
fun.
Well, I want to let people know so they can bounce if they need to bounce. There you go.
Plenty of warning.
Yes. Okay. So the announcement that came to our phones via text from Denny's about the passing, and by the way, we all love Aretha at the age of 76. Yes. Denny's, the text read.
DECEASED. Tell me what it means to me.
Oh, Dennis.
And there you go.
There you go.
Peace, everybody. In fact, rest in peace.
All right. All right.
Jason just almost spilled his drink. He's so nervous.
I'm not nervous. Fuck, I'm not nervous.
All right. Thanks for tuning in today. After the show podcast being brought to you by Bud's Chicken and Seafood.
Oh, yeah.
Now offering up 2 pieces of chicken and fries for $3.49 and 3 pieces of chicken and fries for $3.99.
If y'all need any sauce, I've got so much in my refrigerator right now. I am bird sauce and bud sauce rich.
We always keep it in our fridge, too. It's delish.
For a limited time only, check it out. Bud's is family owned and operated for 60 years right here in Palm Beach County. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you on a Friday. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.